think we are at 6:30. So call the meeting to order. And do we have a motion to approve the minutes from February?
I'll make a
All in
motion.
favor?
Who made a motion?
Jan. Several people.
Lots of emotional
Several
people.
people did.
Somebody second it?
Oh, I'll second.
Okay.
No seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Okay. My remarks are that I'm back, and that's about it. So, I don't really have any other remarks. But naturally, since I was gone, nothing happened, so that's really good.
Good job, Tony.
Go-
Fantastic.
All the credit goes to Tony.
I think that's wonderful.
Okay.
I'm blessed that way.
Office update.
Okay. We got the bill for the cost of the STP mailing and petition, or the public hearing and so on. The total was $1,443.42, which included $800 for an ad that apparently is required to be run in the
Oh,
paper.
in the paper.
Yes.
An ad,
An
oh,
ad. So there's that. I already paid it. We're getting tons of payments in. I mean, I've got probably another 150 sitting on my desk, and it's just constant. So that's a good thing. Sal Kaza, most of you know, he did this photograph, which Joe hung. Yeah, I know. You know, he's holding that Osprey Festival. We've seen the sign on it. He's worked really hard to get sponsorship and so on. And he's hoping, or apparently he knows it's going to be pretty busy. And he's going to have a bus, people park at the high school, and a bus bring people to the club. But a number of older people that live right here in Drum Point, because he's encouraging people to walk. But they live maybe a mile, really, from the club. So he's wondering, can they park here across the street where we now own the lot, and the bus would pick them up there and take them onto the club? Is that
50
something-
cents a car, yeah, that's.
Sure.
Do you know how many people we're talking
I
about?
have no idea.
A lot.
It's the
Unless
first.
they're really elderly, then it's $1.
It's the first time they're doing it.
Because
It is a big question mark, like how,
That
that
lot
lot, they're working.
That lot
could fill up.
Well, I know,
Yeah, how
that's,
many?
yeah,
Yeah,
he understands it isn't going to be an unlimited number of cars that can park there, obviously. Yeah.
First come, first served.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
but I thought I should ask to make sure that,
Anybody
community.
got a problem with that?
No.
That's why we have a lot of
That's-
community service.
Right.
Well, okay, so that's assuming that we don't have to end up picking up trash and whatever else out there. We can get, this could
Well,
be
I
a test
imagine that
run.
Sal would be pretty good about doing any cleanup that was
Well,
needed.
this is sort of an environmental event.
Yeah, I can,
Yeah.
anybody that's interested in the Osprey would be
Well,
also
they won't
very.
get her, they
Well,
won't
people
get
are
her.
just parking there so they can get the bus, I don't imagine they'll be hanging out there, hanging out there now.
No, exactly right. Community Cleanup Day, many of you will remember that wonderful event that we haven't been able to have for a couple of years. I called the appeal landfill and spoke with a woman a couple of weeks ago, and she hadn't called me back, so I called her back today. And she's still checking to see whether or not they have permission to bring dumpsters. But the issue is, if they do it, Saturday being Saturday is a really busy day for them. So rather than being able to bring the 2 dumpsters with possibly a trade out when the one for trash gets too full, they would probably do no more than bring 2 dumpsters and pick them up Monday. So we couldn't get a trade out, which I think, okay, that's good. My only concern is that close the doors, it's 2 o'clock, it's finished, and people will come by and they
And
will
leave
be
their stuff.
leaving their
That's
stuff
right.
there.
And it won't be the stuff that we allow.
Well, possibly.
In many cases.
Possibly. You can stand right there and say to people, no household trash. Oh, it's not. They'll take it in, they'll leave it, and you look and you know it's household
Household
trash,
trash.
because you can see through those white bags. So this is adults.
Well,
So disappointing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just something to think about, how, you know, if we can even do it, if you want to do it based on that.
What are we talking, when?
I don't have a
Oh,
date
we're
for
not
it,
ready.
because she couldn't even say whether or not they the commissioners or whoever the powers are.
But you know, it's interesting, now all of a sudden they're so busy on Saturdays, before it was all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, I think also maybe it's a question of paying your drivers
I think they
overtime.
had this new landfill, this new convenience center open. Weren't we at the old one before COVID?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
been years, you know, so
maybe,
we were probably at the one over on Truman instead
possibly,
of the one around.
yeah,
So
maybe
it's
so.
staff, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and then maybe having staffing problems like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Whether
That,
it's-
yes.
So, and that's it. Okay.
That's it? Okay. Well,
I've been posting payments, it's been my life.
I guess this is kind of,
It's a good thing.
this is kind of office thing.
Well, there you go. Oh,
Um,
it's
So
good.
remember way back when we thought, well, when I thought that we were getting gouged by our attorney Shield from $20-some hundred a year retainer and all this other stuff. And I didn't think we were getting much for it. So, I found through another friend, another firm that does, HOA type work. And Pickett Law, and they have one office in Prince Frederick and one somewhere else, Bowie or someplace. And we got hold of, an attorney there, and she's given us a bunch of information. They have a retainer, but it's a no-cost retainer. All it is an agreement between us and them that, you know, kind of limits what they can do and what we can do. There's nothing in it that's, you know, onerous, and there's no cost to it. It just gives them, I think it's basically just to give them a piece of paper and contact and a signature on our part, you know, saying that this is what we can do and won't do or whatever, right? So, and their fees, their fee structure is considerably less than Shield. So, what I'm thinking we'll do is, Rhea's been in touch with them, and she sent information. We were gonna, and she had offered a long time ago, and then we got wrapped up in COVID and everything, she had offered to maybe join us in a phone call at one of our board meetings. So I think what I'd like to do is set that up in April, and have her join us, and any questions you have or anything. And we could, can you send this around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And should I contact her and see if she's available then for the April
Yeah, it's.
board meeting to phone in or to come?
Yeah, what is the April thing? It's probably a early, I don't know. Let's see, it's like the 5th probably. The 5th would be our normal date.
Okay.
So let's see if she's available to join us. And
Okay, and I'll send,
I don't see any pressing need to execute this right now. I think we can wait till we talk to her. If something did come up, we could still, if we had to, we could execute it. Now, you wanna talk about roads?
Doesn't she always?
Chris Franklin was supposed to get to, because he has this list of drainage issues and a few other things, and he was hoping to get the drum point Saturday, this past Saturday. So I sent him a text yesterday and he responded today. He wasn't able to get here, he's not been well. So he's hoping for this upcoming weekend to do that. I hope so, because the list is growing. I mean, you know, various things, minor, but still. And maybe I've already said this before, the well rings are to be done in March. I talked with Sharon at
Okay.
Grove's Landscape. And Bay Drive erosion, George Marina, they're waiting for permits.
Okay.
So, that's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I hope they can get to it by March, because
I would think
if
so.
we keep waiting, then we're gonna get back into high tide season again.
Exactly,
Like right now, the tide
Yeah,
is
that's
low
nice,
as this.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I noticed the lake has been draining and everything,
That's
so
good.
Tony's done a great job.
He's
You need to
shoulder
go
to
for
the
it
wheel.
more often.
Hey, it's that magic touch.
Okay, Jack, you got any news on money?
There's not much news there, everything, there's nothing remarkable at all on this month's budget documents. We did, our biggest bill of the year we paid, so that's showing
Yes,
up
it's on
this
there.
time, which is the paving.
The paving,
So it's nearly a couple $100,000.
we didn't have any more snow.
Yeah, and we were within budget for our storm and snow removal, so it all looks good.
We're expecting snow later this week.
Did you say that?
The
You
Post
said that
the
word.
Post had an article
Ah.
for Saturday. I don't know if it'll come down this
Really?
far, where we are now.
But it was,
Didn't your mother teach you not to
He
use
said
it?
one day, he said one day.
There's a storm coming this way,
Yeah.
maybe one day.
Was it Saturday or Sunday or something?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
I looked at the tent, what the heck is that one? That's an aberration, must be a typo.
Yeah.
Well, March, March can be a
Yeah.
It was so, yeah, it was weird. It's like
Saturday.
21 degrees, I think, one day.
I think.
He's on the budget then.
I watched the Weather Channel.
it's good, it's on
Oh,
the
they-
page too.
How long is it supposed to stay cold? More than one day or?
No, I think,
it's like Saturday
Sunday,
morning.
the sun will rise up,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna be a lot of snow.
It's gonna go from 21 to 85.
But I think
Right.
it's more in the northern part of.
It was kind of like that, it was like 60 something, I just
Yeah,
remember looking,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden I was like, the low the next day was 21. I was like, hey,
Did I get that wrong?
No, it looks like it's one of these cold front things where it's in the 50s during the day and then drops down into the high
Well, then that
20s
should be
overnight.
about the
thank
same.
God,
So,
gas prices are low, so we can just warm
That's
our
right.
houses up.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
419 at.
they're not calling for anything significant.
419 at Giants today.
So, hopefully.
I filled my propane.
The
Was
bad
it
part of that
$1,000?
though
It's
is,
like,
when you have a temperature drop like that, it plays living hell on our trees and
Yeah, that's
our
true.
vegetation.
Yeah.
Joanna.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, the daffodils just started blooming.
Yeah, they're.
Something should be done about it.
Yeah.
This is Mother Nature and.
Right.
We gotta go out and wrap them all.
Yeah. Especially the poor daffodils.
It's a small thing,
Right.
but we had got a letter from the company that manages our credit card purchases. I didn't even know, I thought the bank did that, but apparently it's a separate company that we pay. And the law's been changed and now everybody has to provide additional information on what your credit card income is. So to provide that, this company's gonna charge us another $90 a year, I think something like that,
$90.
in addition to what we already pay.
You can opt out of it.
Yeah.
So this is where people use their credit card to pay fees,
Oh,
right?
I see. Oh, I see.
And I received it, I guess it's a 1099, that had each quarter or each month and how much we were paid, all the transactions. And then the total transactions for the year. And I got that before I ever received this letter. So it's almost, they're almost saying, we won't provide it unless you pay us the name, because that is the document that I scanned and forwarded to the auditor.
Mhm.
And I also sent this to him, but he's not responded, but it's tax season. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure he's swamped and some little niggly question
Yeah.
for me is probably not at the top of his priority list.
Are people calling in credit card
Yeah.
stuff, that's how they're doing it? Okay.
That, and also I have a little device, I can swipe a card.
Mhm.
Okay, so they're actually showing up with it, just
Oh.
wondering why,
And is there a
How
fee
much-
associated with it?
yeah.
Oh,
how
yeah,
much-
we charge.
Yeah, what is yeah.
We came up with a fee,
Yeah.
we came up with a fee schedule years ago when we started this, and we tried to take, rather than a percentage on each one, which would sort of complicate the whole process.
Yeah.
If you charge under $200, it's $3. $201 to $300, I think, is $4, and then $5, it goes up in increments. And the top, I think, that you can be charged is $10, I want to say, could be that's like if you charge $1,000 because you haven't paid.
Are we getting our money back on it?
Yes, if
So
you
we are,
look on
okay. So it's a-
P&L.
okay, it's a wash.
You'll see it's, at any given
That's right.
time, it might look like we're making money on it, but we're really not. By the end of the year, it's pretty much a wash. It's hard to make it come out to zero.
Okay. But that's, yeah, okay, so.
Yeah.
We've got $72.
Exactly.
I mean,
And that's
That's not
because, no, well, And that's because I've posted there, where you've paid me to use your card, so that gets posted there. And then I get the statement that gives me the cost of our taking it, and that goes against this, and it would reduce the fees we pay the bank. I hope I'm doing it right.
So we keep the part and the part goes to the credit card company or the bank, is that what you're
No, we
saying?
get the entire amount.
Okay.
And then
But don't they charge a service fee though?
they do,
Yeah.
which is why we then
Transaction.
charge $3 on,
They're charging us for the accounting.
correct.
So they charge $90, is that what you're saying, or?
No, 90 additional dollars.
This is over and
Additional.
above, for them to be able to report to the IRS. And there's a RAAP, is that what it was called? I didn't bring it, which is an acronym, of course, reporting, blah, 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 something, I don't know.
Well,
Don't
probably,
remember.
I mean, all these, any kind of a processing system is gonna charge some kind of money
And they're
for
gonna make money.
various services.
Sure,
So
yes,
they're either gonna, if they don't charge for that, then they're gonna build that into the
right,
collection fee. So,
exactly. I mean, they already charge us $149 a year just as the base fee. And then if you look at those statements, they're hard to read. You can, I get them every month, and, you know, this is the Visa, and I don't even know
Are
what.
they the only ones we can use going forward in the future?
I think they're probably some of the least expensive going.
Oh, okay, oh, okay.
And it's been working very well. I think it's well worth doing it.
Yeah.
We've collected thousands and
Yes,
thousands of
yes,
dollars
yes.
on credit cards.
Yes, no,
Because
you don't want, yeah.
If you get hit with a claim and now, ooh, I owe $1,000, I don't have cash, but help.
Yeah.
my credit
No, I was
card.
just
People are
questioning
much
that.
more likely to pay.
I was just questioning whether there were other services that were cheaper.
I
You're
don't think
saying
it's
no.
any,
well, you know,
Not much
Square
difference.
is a common
That's
one that's used by, you know,
Yes.
vendors and
Mm-hmm.
businesses all over the place. Their fee structure is basically flat, and it's 2.6% plus 15 cents per transaction.
Mhm.
That's if you take the card.
Mhm,
Now, if you take the card over the phone
mhm.
or by mail or whatever, and you enter it manually, then it's 3.5% plus the per swipe
There's some
transaction.
labor
fee.
involved there.
But they don't charge any other fees.
Mm.
You know, so you get, like at the club, we get the report of,
How does my wife so effective at spending money on credit cards?
so,
She seems to just have no trouble with it. She goes,
Swipe,
his too, I've seen his wife doing it.
But
Yeah,
it's-
they just
that's just
straight
for
away, no big deal.
comparison, if you wanted to compare.
we actually used to use Square,
Oh,
before we switched to Community Bank. And I'd have to look back now, but it seemed to be more cost effective to use the banks.
so this is a subcontractor of the community bank, is what you're saying?
Apparently, it's called World Pay, World Pay.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of smaller banks, they don't have their own processing service they use.
Right.
Right.
But community banks' fees, we looked at the community bank, and their fees were, I thought, kind of high. And it's confusing too, because they have different fees for different kind of cards. You know, so that gets all goofy. Where Square's flat rate, no matter what, doesn't matter if it's Amex or Discover or Visa or MasterCard, it just makes it really
I can
easy.
check into them again.
Well, you know, it's
but
not,
Not for this year, but, you know, for going.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to just check something once in a while, just to see if we're
Yeah.
still, if they're still competitive. Okay, I guess, anything else?
That's it.
Well, I guess another money thing though is we've got the STD meeting coming up, on the 15th, 7 o'clock at the community, Southern Pine, or Southern Community Center. And we got an agenda, right?
No, she
No,
said
she
she would
didn't,
send it
she's
to
gonna
us
send
when
us
she
to, so
gets
we'll
it.
get the agenda out when we get it. So other than that, I'm kind of playing
I
by
was,
ear.
pardon me for, I read the thing that I got, and I was actually a little bit confused by this thing. First question I had
By
was,
their letter,
yeah, what did it go from to? It almost implied that this is coming from something to this new amount, they never told us. It's like, what was it, $180 or something? they mentioned on it?
115, it had been
it
115.
used to be 115, went to 175.
Yeah, they didn't mention the 115, did they?
I don't know, I haven't.
I believe that was what I got. I thought, well, where did it come from? That people might look at it and think, God, they want that much more now? I don't know, I just,
Oh,
Well,
versus,
the way it was
raise over
worded, I just,
115
you
now.
know, of course, I had trouble reading, but, and there was the
It
other
does
thing.
seem as though they should.
Yeah, I was a little, and then now, do we go to this meeting and they just need a certain number of people to vote? How does this work?
Well, it's
I couldn't
it's
figure
open
that
to it's open to the Drum Point, the DPPOA community.
Right.
Okay, so anybody who wants to go can go. It's a public, it's an open public hearing. I will go, assuming
Oh, yeah.
Rhea will go, and you all are invited.
Yeah, and they will ask for public comments, both pro and con, so it's better
Okay, so this is,
if more people
If
are
we
there,
listen-
if
if we
there's a lot of
listen.
con comments, you wanna make a lot of pro comments, so.
Right.
Yeah.
so, okay, so it's
So
not a matter
I think it's
of,
useful for the board to be there.
Yeah,
so-
I find it-
it's not a voting thing,
No.
it's just
No.
a discussion.
No.
Okay, because I
So
didn't
they
see
will,
where it
the
said to vote.
commissioners will listen to the comments and pros and cons and whatever, and then they'll
Okay.
go off and make their decision.
And you can also, as a property owner, send a letter to the commissioners if you don't have time to
Mm.
Yeah.
come to the meeting.
Right.
And I asked this woman, whose name I can't remember, who's been corresponding about it, if there was an email address provided on this letter. And she said, there's not, but that's a good idea. Yes, it would be a good idea. Especially in this day and age, you know, nobody takes the time to sit down and write a letter
No,
too
I
much.
know.
But I will say this, the last one, I guess the last one I attended, I'm not sure. I sat there just with a tablet, and as people got up, I just did an up arrow or a down arrow,
Mm.
favorable or not. And out of, I don't know, maybe 20 speakers, 2 or 3 were unfavorable toward it. The rest were all positive and favorable, and they still reduced the amount that we requested.
Democracy in
There was
action.
at that time
Yeah,
a
this
very
is good fun.
vocal minority in Drum Point. And they were listened to, especially by 1 or 2 of the commissioners. I think all those commissioners are now gone, if I'm not mistaken.
So then they will make a decision on the amount as well, you're saying? So they'll go through all this and
Commissioners
say,
make that, yeah.
those 5 geniuses or whatever many there are, they're gonna just throw a number at us, huh?
Right.
Well, we
And
find
they're gonna
out
know
at
all
the
the
meeting,
ins
we'll
and outs
go
like
away.
you all
They'll
did.
go away and they'll
There'll be
decide.
actual commissioners meeting
That's right.
Mhm.
sometime after, and you might want to go to that as well. It's all also on Tuesday mornings, I think. And the decision will be announced there.
Mhm.
I don't think it was the last STD, because that's just 115. I think it was a prior STD where they reduced it to $50.
I think it was, 'cause the last one, I think they ended up taking what
I
was
think you're right.
proposed.
I think you're
I
right.
think Mike Hart was
Yes.
opposed to it giving us anything, because I don't think he understood. But,
Well, that's the main thing right there. Just seriously, make sure they understand
Well, he did.
why, where our money's going and why. Those 5
and
guys,
we've
that's
submitted,
it.
we have, they have our budget, our proposed budget, so they have had that, some opportunity to look at it, and whether they did or not, who knows?
Yeah, well, they understand.
Well, and I think
Okay.
the board has done its due diligence. You had a January meeting for informational
Right.
purposes. You've presented a couple of times the erosion control options and,
Right.
and the fact that you went back and got a
Right.
less expensive option. It's been in the newsletter.
Mhm.
Everything's on the website. I'm not sure if there's anything else you could have done to, try to educate the community, and that's what you need to point out as well.
So I'll be prepared to summarize what we've done, and, what's in our budget and why, and,
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
we'll just have to
Just
see.
making the numbers
So now,
up.
should we meet there early in order to like set up?
Starts at 7.
You could snipe them out from different angles.
You'll want to
You
be
get that
there
corner of the
early
crystal.
enough to sign up if you're going to speak.
Yeah, if you're gonna speak.
Right,
Because they'll have a list. And in the past, the president of the board has always tried to speak last. Gary always did, just because I think in case you hear
Well, you
something
hear-
egregiously,
yeah.
outrageously wrong,
right,
you can stand up and say,
Right.
that's wrong.
yeah.
No, it's ill-informed.
It's a misunderstanding, this is a misunderstanding.
No, I meant, like the chairs, because there's
No,
been.
Yeah, it's their meeting.
It's not our
It's
meeting.
their
Oh,
meeting.
it's
It's their meeting.
It's their
meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We're
We're guests, actually.
Oh, we're
audience
guests,
or
okay.
guests or whatever.
The commissioners.
We're not running the meeting.
Okay,
Isn't that nice?
yeah. Works for me.
They're charging us, so.
They
That's
charge
right.
us for
Yeah.
it, so, yeah.
But speaking of that, do we have an update on the grant, any information on that yet?
No, and I don't expect to hear anything until probably June or July.
Maggie wasn't here, I don't think, when we talked about amending the draft agreement. And what we did
Oh.
was change the wording at the end to say that, you know, we've applied for a grant, and if it's approved, and we will not know, and if it's approved, we would like to be able to reduce the amount of the request.
And they told us that was acceptable.
Norris
Yeah,
told us that.
Norris,
Yeah.
the lawyer told us that,
Mhm.
so we'll see. Okay. But speaking of meetings, we also have a meeting coming, general membership meeting coming up on the 19th.
Yeah.
That we are hosting, so. Okay, moving along, environmental.
I have nothing really except Tony, because he'd been the environmental committee chair at one time, you were. He brought to my attention there's a nasty spider from, a huge spider that's.
Jobo spider.
Jobo spider
No,
from.
Jobo, yeah,
Jobo from
somewhere from Asia.
Korea, I think.
The females can be the size of your palm,
Let's see if I-
and they're like iridescent, no, they have long legs, they're not,
see if I
Have you
can-
seen one of these?
no,
I have a
only in
picture of it, let's see
pictures.
if I can find it.
And
So
the
what
body
is
is
this?
sort of iridescent yellow and black, and, but they're not dangerous to people, the teeth aren't long enough to puncture human skin.
Let's see if I can find it.
Okay, so,
That just give you a heart
But
attack.
they took over Atlanta, and they only landed there a few months ago, or last spring or
really?
something.
I want to
And
see
now we
a
have
picture.
And they're spreading north rather
As long
than
as they don't
south.
bite, I don't know.
Apparently there are more spiders
Round
south,
spider.
so they're
Oh,
spreading
that-
Oh,
north,
okay.
and they can survive the winter.
So we should
Well,
have,
it looks like, I mean, I don't remember the
Wasn't
name
there a
of
meeting
it,
the 19th?
but the common
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
And
the general-
garden spiders
Yeah.
is the,
At 10 o'clock in the morning or
but
something?
one is bigger.
Is that-
First
I
time
knew
I
I saw it on
I
somebody's
didn't
phone.
see a picture of a spider. I
No,
didn't
no,
see
no.
it.
At your other
Good
place.
size spider.
Right.
At your other place.
And
10 o'clock in the morning, the
At a drum
19th.
point.
Apparently the
Okay.
babies,
I think I've seen this.
they somehow create a parachute out of webbing and can float 100
that's
miles.
interesting.
I thought all spiders kind
Ugh.
of.
I don't know.
It's Charlotte's web.
I'm just out of curiosity,
It's with.
Okay, so
as long as it doesn't bite, but, oh
Are
yeah.
they invading us?
They look kind of like
Yes,
decorating,
they're
very fancy, very
fancy.
fancy.
Yeah.
I've seen these like
They're
decorating
nice
spiders that
things.
decorate the webs, they kind of look
They're
like
not an
that.
agricultural threat
Yeah.
because they eat stink
No.
bugs. So
Oh, that's
actually,
a good thing.
agriculturally, they're
Oh,
not
they
bad.
eat what?
Stink bugs.
She
Oh,
said,
stink bugs.
Maybe they
Oh,
used to
bring
take
them
us
out.
out.
Would you like
Good,
stink bugs?
Lonnie, what are they called?
Jobos.
let me, I'll give you the.
Parachutes?
So then they're really not a harm to the environment.
They're this
Scary.
big.
They're scary but not harmful.
Joro, J-O-R-O.
Oh, J-O-R.
J-O-R-O.
It's native to Korea, China, Taiwan, and Japan.
But they also build their webs up high. So, but they're huge,
So
apparently
they'll
they're
drop
big.
down on you. Is this
Yeah,
what
they're
you said?
usually big webs, but it's not like
That's
you're gonna walk
snakes
into
falling in
one.
your boat.
Yes, so this is another environmental thing that we have. I mean, probably should have, every newsletter have you seen me? And call it, so we know, but since it doesn't do anything.
No, but if we're lucky, they'll eat the
The
painted,
stink bugs.
the
Or the
painted
painted lantern bug.
lantern bug.
Yeah, yeah.
Or ticks,
Yeah.
maybe they'll eat ticks.
Or ticks, yeah,
Oh.
who knows?
That would make them excited.
We don't know. Anyhow,
Okay.
that's all I've got,
All right,
just for interest.
Just to
Okay.
stir up trouble.
I can't follow that, I don't have anything.
are you, have you or are you gonna touch, what's his name, Dave Harvey?
It's about time for everybody to get the butt back to Maryland after
Yeah.
all their vacations, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Welcoming committee?
It's, Jenna and Asha, right?
And Judy.
And Jenny, that's
also,
right,
yeah.
that's right,
All three of
thank
us
you.
were there.
Assembled 6 buckets a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah,
So I have
so
7 on
it's,
hand, I don't think I've handed any out, I think things have slowed.
Mm.
And that letter I sent out, sometimes it just doesn't get seen, I think, in the crush of moving.
Mhm.
We'll try to wait a little while
Mhm.
because of that. But anyway, so there's 7 back there, just waiting.
Good. Okay, well, no, I don't have any updates on the planning, right now, we're kind of on hold until, see what the STD does and wait for the grant notification from the state, and then we'll have to, hopefully, then be able to re-energize the construction people. we got a lot of sand there. that we
Yeah, I
can-
know.
Yeah, I
A
saw
lot of
that.
surplus sand,
Yeah, where did that,
well, it came in,
and it sort of mounded itself like that?
well, no, it was pushed there,
Oh,
we accreted a lot of sand.
The same storm that kind of tore up the beach and had a lot of debris that had to be cleaned
Yeah.
up, Grover's Landscape
Right.
cleaned it up,
Yeah.
it also brought that sand in.
But I rode down by there the other day and I didn't see any, outcropping of asphalt again, other than that one, the one spot when you first get there, but a lot of that asphalt debris seems like it's still managed to stay cleaned up, so.
Y'all talking about that, gosh, I haven't been around that long, just a few months ago. Did that get cleaned up? You're talking about the Drum Point Beach or something, and there was a
The
black
community beach,
Community Beach Live, did that get cleaned up?
yeah, a lot of it. What
Okay, so you're
happened-
saying now you look again and it's not messed up again?
Well, what happened is, the storm before that, one where we gained all the sand, and one before that really eroded a lot of sand and uncovered a lot of asphalt. So we got, one of our contractors
Yeah, get some of that
to
out.
go in there with, their equipment to get it out of there, and they did.
And now it's back to sand again and almost surplus.
Like I say, so I'm not seeing much asphalt
It's
showing
hiding
up
under there,
again,
it's
so.
hiding under there.
There's probably some under there, but they got rid of a lot,
Good, oh, good.
it really helped.
Yeah.
And then we piled up a bunch of sand over on one end,
Yeah,
which
your
we'll
porta potty.
probably be able to use when we, put the spur in and start and fill in.
You don't think it's a good idea to give it away?
I could use something
Just
like
sell it.
that, like my bucket.
Which was done one time.
I need a bucket.
Tony, why would you want to bring up
I steal yours.
ancient history? It's before my time.
Because I'm old.
Before my time.
Yeah.
I'm old. I just remember little things like
That was
that.
very controversial.
I know.
Oh, somebody has a bunch of things,
Okay.
why would you ever do that, I don't know, because you always need it.
I just thought I'd ask.
Want to nominate a committee, you know,
Kurt,
update on
Yeah, well, yeah,
on
Kurt stopped by, here it is. And he said, he'd spoken to all the candidates, right?
Yeah, I gave you my speech and
Right,
he accepted
and
it.
Bonnie
Yeah.
and you, Asha, I know who you are.
Yes.
And Jenna, you had offered to step aside if anybody else wanted to serve, and that would be Susan Rourke. And there was one other person that had also voiced interest, I don't really think he said he wanted to, but he voiced some interest. And Kurt talked to him and suggested that, rather than being on the slate of candidates, which would make us have to have a ballot, how about if we keep this man's name on a list in case somebody should have to resign over the course of the year,
That's a good idea.
and he could be appointed.
Yeah, sure.
So, but Kurt will be there at the March meeting to present the slate of
Okay,
candidates.
good.
Do we know who this person is, do you know their name?
The other person, Alan Fine, he lives down on Beach Drive. He's relatively new, maybe 2 years now.
Has he come to the general?
They've been at the meetings, he was fine.
That's
Good,
good.
yeah.
Okay. Then we got a quit claim.
Yes, what are their names, Perrin, they bought a lot adjacent to them, and the lot that they live on Overlook, so the lot that they had already owned was quit claimed years ago, before they ever
Can
purchased
you
it.
tell me what that means? I couldn't
Oh, I'm sorry.
figure that out.
A quit claim is when, if you want to build a pier, for instance, and so you go to the county for your permits, the county makes them come here and get a quit claim. And there's two types of quit claims, and this is for riparian rights.
Okay,
We're just simply saying that,
it's fine.
okay,
Yeah,
that
okay.
yes, they
Okay.
can, put a pier across what is our, because the association owns a strip of property along all the waterfront. So that's what this is for. And I explained that this would be a riparian right quit claim, just for that
Which is-
purpose. And also that they have to allow access, they can't cut access to property owners. You have to be able to walk up and down the beach. Unlike, there's one, isn't there a deck right a couple of doors down from you guys? And the deck sort of goes out over the,
Oh,
Yeah.
the orange
and that's,
thing.
yeah. And that's-
Grandfathered until,
Well, and he didn't get any kind of, that was way back in the day before they asked for quit claims.
Mhm.
So that just happened without our ever knowing it was going to. But you can also get a full quitclaim, and that gives you the full property rights. But I think you still have to allow access.
We had this whole discussion, I think
We
no
did.
matter what you do,
You still have
property
to allow
owner access has to be allowed.
Yes, and that was Tom Shields, our attorney's
Yeah.
opinion on that. Or something else I was going to say.
So
But
is
it
this
was
somebody,
signed.
did a neighbor buy that lot, or?
They bought it, so they own on Overlook and they bought the lot next to them. And they're going to actually combine the two.
So it's the house to, if you're looking at the lot, it's the house to the right?
Oh, I don't know.
That bought it?
Maggie, I haven't
Okay.
driven down there to take a
But
look.
if they
Is it
already,
adjourned?
so they're gonna have two docks, or is that?
They're not gonna build anything, they just wanna have it,
The land.
they just want it on file that they've gotten a
Oh.
quitclaim.
But they're not building
They're
it
not
here.
intending to build
They're not putting
anything.
it here out there, because they have one, right?
I don't
At
know,
their
I
house.
assume.
I think so.
I mean, I don't really know, it was
Okay.
quitclaimed. Was something done with it? I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Okay.
go out and
Okay.
look, but we would need to have.
Well,
a
they
sign.
Alright, so they just want, okay, you have a motion to approve it,
I make a motion to approve.
maybe second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Well, we'll sign it.
And the other thing I was gonna say, if they had requested a full quitclaim, that would have to go to the membership. Because
Okay.
then we are kind of giving up property. Think about it though, if Tom
But
Shields
doesn't
says we
mean-
are, then I don't know.
We're
Do you
giving up
ever visit
property
Wolford?
but not access, which
This
I
is
never
what the
quite
member-
understood.
I agree.
It's an ownership.
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
But there's another end to a quitclaim too, it says that they're getting it with no, in other words, nothing has been done on it. You're taking it by
As it is.
whatever's on the property, if it's deeded, whatever is on there, it's yours. It's kind of as is kind of thing.
It's
So that's-
basically just a deed, and you are quitting your claim to it.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's, and so in this case, it's just for the repairing
Yeah,
rights.
you kind of, yeah, I was reading the letter again, I mean, I just, my God. Yeah, I was
Well,
trying to make
there's
sense
some-
of it, I'm sorry. I
There's some
really
things
did.
that aren't worth reading.
Yeah, I know, that's what my wife said, I said, "Hey, read this," and she goes, "No, what's this, they got a little small thing?"
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So,
do we have any other business anybody wants to bring up?
I just wanted to ask, you guys might have already seen this or ordered a sign, but you know, on Bayview Drive and Calvert Terrace, there's a stop sign that's down.
Yeah, somebody told me the other day, I had
It's been
Joe,
down for a while, I think since the snow.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Joe was supposed to go get it and bring it back here just to keep it from being stolen, but he'll put it back up.
Yeah, it's still on the ground.
Is it still there,
Yeah,
Joe?
at least like last time
I'll
last time I
check it out.
noticed it was still there.
I think I just called him Friday with it, because that's when I called
Okay.
him. I think Friday.
Okay, but you already know, so that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, okay.
I don't have anything to bring up, but I did want to let everybody know that I'm no longer with Berkshire Hathaway. I am now with EXP Realty.
Congratulations.
That's
So
a good move.
you didn't make the PenFed move, huh?
I did not make it. I
What's
moved
the pen
before
fed?
that came out.
What's the pen?
PenFed, I don't know exactly, but basically PenFed has taken over the
Dallas, or,
the McDellis group,
Really?
but they're still using the name Berkshire,
right.
but,
They're gonna
they're
trip
still
on
tied
it.
to Berkshire Hathaway,
Getting into real estate, getting ready to trip on themselves.
but, yeah,
Who is
Yeah,
Pen-
brilliant.
Pen Fed?
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, a good little story, guys, I'm 60 whatever, and I think when I was about 4, my parents opened up an account at the Pentagon Credit Union.
Uh-huh.
So like I was talking to somebody, he said, "You're one of like the oldest," not my age, but you know, being
Yeah,
around
long-
those people.
long-
I said, "But you guys aren't the same thing anymore, you don't even have a place I can go,
Right.
there's no water, I mean, where
well,
is this?"
they've opened it up to any,
The
to the
world,
public.
it's the
You
world.
don't even have to have a military connection.
Yeah, it's just
They've
interesting.
expanded all kinds of crap, their services have gone to hell.
Yeah, it's a
We
problem.
were members for over 30 years and had, you know, had mortgages and refis and stuff with them.
Okay, you 30 years, so you probably were able to call and you knew people there.
Well,
30 years ago, you could do that.
well, yeah, but, so
They
when
get
we
bowling and.
wanted
it's a shame.
to actually pay our mortgage off, we had a little, not a lot left, we wanted to pay it off. we had all the money in a parallel account at the credit union. Okay, take that money and transfer, pay off the mortgage. No, that'll cost a wire transfer fee of such and such and such. I said, stick it up your, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
I'll
run into
come
that.
in and get
But
the
there used to be a
cash.
day when they didn't even know the word fee.
Said, close out my
Oh.
Yeah,
accounts,
they didn't know fees, they.
do not pass go.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
And the other thing is just humorous, you know, they've been inundating the airways with their stupid commercials,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And they're stupid, they're really bad. And one of the ones that really got me was they had this Air Force officer, and he was, I don't know what he was representing, but they couldn't even get his uniform right. They had mixed up, they had enlisted insignia
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
my
on part of
goodness.
it, and,
Oh, I
An
didn't notice
officer?
that.
An officer in the city?
yeah.
Yeah, there was an actor.
That's bad.
It was an actor.
An actor.
Well, of course,
Is that
it's an
right,
actor, and he
Still,
wouldn't have
you should
known,
do the
but
research.
somebody
That's
should
awful.
know.
Like, you people call yourself Pentagon Federal
Pentagon,
Credit,
that's
and you
interesting.
can't even get the uniform right.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how they
funny.
got so darn big like they did. I mean, again,
That's all
there was a
right.
couple in
I know.
DC, it was just that, and then bowling and
Got great
Andrews.
rates for
We all
everything.
got together, and then all of a sudden they're on TV.
Well, but then they also expanded in these other business areas.
And I think that's just crazy, going into
You
their
know,
real
so in one
estate.
sense, it's-
Okay,
Maybe kind of one-stop shopping, you can go buy your house, get your mortgage, or do everything all in one thing, and
yeah,
then,
that's their hope, I'm
and then
sure.
get screwed on the other end, but, anyway. I guess
Thank
we're
God for
moving forward,
USAA,
I
though,
think, right?
they've still.
All right, anything else? Before we-
No.
Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting, then we can laugh.